Hello everyone, it's Jean from Inky Studio. I so appreciate your company today, stopping by, seeing what I'm up to, and I am up to for my next project is working with Edith Holden's Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady book. And if you've been in the journey world for very long, you'll know that these here in the United States, these books are not easy to come by, and they have really skyrocketed in price. I believe 2 years ago, I bought a copy for $7, and the best price I could find recently was 17, but there's all the way up to 30 and 40. Some people really want to gouge you, but yeah, they've gotten really expensive, and because of that, I've got my own personal copy, which I'm not going to alter, but this one that I did purchase for the purpose of altering has been sitting on my shelf for quite a while. And I've just kind of been, just don't know how to go about it. So I really appreciated Tanya's video from Teddy Treasures on how she breaks hers up. It really gave me the bravery. Thanks, Tanya. And I'll link down below the video where she does that. And so I have approached it. And of course, I kind of, approached it in my own personal way, which we all do in the end. But it's really nice to have ideas of how other people are doing it. So I'm just going to share with you kind of like what I did. And there is no right way, one way to do this. It's all definitely your own personal choices. But I went ahead and I grouped together all of those pages that I felt would make a lovely cover, that they were kind of detailed. The page was filled nicely. So these are just some of the samples of the ones. This one might be a little on the sparse side. I might do something different with that. But anyways, these here just seem to me like they would be good covers, and I have other ones, but that's what I did first of all. And then I went through and I grouped together by a theme that I want to have in the future. So I like her birds. I love birds. So that to me was, I want to do one that focused on that. So I kind of got together all the bird type of themed pages in here, and I kind of put them together, with nests and birds and that type of stuff, eggs and things like that. So I put those together in a pile. And then I put together one that has more of an autumn/woodland theme to them. So, autumn colors and plants. And I have in here some mushrooms. I think she's got 2 pages of mushrooms. And just sort of like do a woodland, it has like a woodland theme to it. And so stuff like that. I kind of like put all those together because I would like to do one with, that particular theme going on. And the other thing I did, and of course I put all the pages that have either what I don't want on the other side or words, just words. I put all those, of course, in a pile together. As I have went ahead and made the prototype, another tip I wanted to share, and I'm pretty sure Tanya did share this too, maybe. But I do not toss out anything, nothing. Everything, even the little pieces, I save every little tiny scrap, because even something like this, you think, oh, what is that? It's just, but no. Here, like I turned this one into a little tag to write on. And I just got some fussy cut flower that is sort of Edith Holden-esque like looking. Put that on over the words, and then it just makes a cute little tag. And here's one with just leaves, but it's very pretty. I mean, it gives you an opportunity to kind of look at the artwork close up in more detail. And then for some of the words, some of these word sheets, I cut out tags from it, because even the writing to me is artistic and very pretty wish I could write like this, but I use that for the tag. So I did not toss out any of my little scraps. And so you just may want to, and I like this idea. Now I think Tanya had a little bit more in my memory. She's a little bit more logical about what she saves. But I like the serendipity of this. I just really think it's fun to end up with these scraps and go like, oh, what can I do? What can I, it just stretches my imagination a little bit. I think with these, I'm going to cut out little individual round ones and make something from that. And I think somebody else who does Edith Holden talked about just the paper itself is very pretty. So just the blank spots, you can do a lot with just the blank spots. So anyways, that's that. I think that's about all I wanted to share on that level. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to make the base of our folio, and let me show you the prototype quickly. I'll just show this to you quickly that I did. So this is kind of like the basic. This is the base of it, and this is the direction we're going to go in. And so today we're just going to work with the file folder. Now I am using heavy duty file folders, and because they're heavy duty, they do need a little bit more manipulation as far as creasing and folding than maybe the lighter weight ones. I am using, for the base, I am using Tanya's approach to how we're going to fold it. I liked this, and I tell you what I really, really liked about this particular way of making the folio, and that is because you are gluing the two parts of the file folder together, you're making a very sturdy cover, so that you could use a medium weight file folder and still have it pretty sturdy. I don't feel that the ones at the dollar store, even doing this, is I think they're still going to be a little on the flimsy side. The ones from the dollar store, I will tell you, make excellent tags. They're really good for that, and that's what I buy them for. So they make good tag bases. So today we're just going to fold this up, and what I did is I decided that I would have a 1/2 inch spine in the middle. So I just sort of like found the middle right here. Just found, approximately where the middle is with this little ruler. Maybe it's a little bit off here. And the nice thing is that I like doing it this way is that I am not worried about being exact. I just want the general area because I'm going to even it out later on. Sorry, I had to reach to get my board here. And I am using a scoreboard because it is heavy duty, and this is comes out much easier for me. So if you had a medium weight, you totally could put your ruler down and just take a stylus pen and make the seam or the score line. But with the heavy duty, I am using the scoreboard. Now I also, I go back in, I forgot to say, before I get to this point, I go a 1/4 of an inch to the right and 1/4 of an inch to the left of that center line. All right, so those are going to be my score places. And so I just line this up. I line this up to a score line, and then these two will have a score line. I think on mine, okay, I can go back over here. On my particular file folder, and these file folders are heavy duty from Home Depot, and for me, the score is 5 5/8. Oops, wrong one. There we go. It's 5 5/8. and 6 1/8. Those are the two score lines. But because different companies do kind of make the width of their file folders a little different, they can be off a full 1/4 of an inch from different companies. It still is probably just best to measure out a 1/4 of an inch this way, 1/4 of an inch this way, and just line up your marks to a score line. It's probably the quickest and easiest way of doing that. So let's go. Oops. And we'll just score down here. And 6 1/8. All right, hopefully they meet, and they did on mine. You with the heavy duties, you cannot do two layers at one time. It just doesn't go through. You have to really do the one layer at a time. That's what I have found anyhow. Now once I've done that, I'm going to just sort of like encourage the fold, right, the way I like it. I'm not going to burnish it yet. I'm just going to encourage that fold. Just like that. And I'm going to take it apart. Now these are going to be folded kind of like in opposite directions. So what I do then is I only burnish from the middle. So and I think that once you start using it or doing it yourself, you'll see how this is. But I'm going to burnish from the middle to the end only on this side. And I'm going to burnish there on that. So on this side, I burnish from the middle that way. But you see on this side, the fold needs to go in the opposite direction. So I go from the middle out again. Because one side needs to nest into the other side. And like I say, this might look a little confusing, but once you start handling it, you will see what I mean. And then I do them together. And oftentimes you have to kind of re-encourage the fold that's along the bottom too as well. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to come across here like that, so that the folds are causing this to lay this as flat as possible. All right, now I would say most that I've encountered file folders have a little have this little, I don't know what you call it, divot here on the end. Some are very minimal, and some like this are actually, you can really see it quite well. So I like to cut those off, and I don't do it before I do the folds because it allows me then to even it up after I've gotten the folds done. Because if you've noticed, there's a little bit of creeping that happens when you fold them together. All right, and so we want to get rid of that overlap here. And at the same time, we're going to get rid of that divot. And so to do that, when I cut it, I know this is kind of shiny. Let me see if I can do something here to kind of help with that shine. Okay, the light might get a little dimmer, but what I do is I let the fold kind of like happen, you know, kind of like just let it relax, go over a little bit, and then I will cut off. Now I don't use this one because this one really, well, it might work. I usually use my heavy duty cutter. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want to dull this blade, but I let this sort of hang over, and then I make my cuts. And I do the same, you know, with this one. Rather than cutting it this way, I kind of let that that fold kind of happen with that overlap in there. That's how I get rid of mine. So let me do that real fast. Alrighty, it's all cut and it's pretty even. There might be a tiny tad bit of variance, but it's not enough really to notice. And yeah, so that's all ready to go. Now before I go any further, I'm going to reinforce the back of this side. Now this side is shorter than the front side is shorter than the back side, and sometimes that is there and sometimes file folders don't have that, but because it does, I want to be careful to do the shorter side so that it doesn't, the reinforcement doesn't peak up here and over there. So you can use many things. You can use masking tape, you can use even a piece of muslin, you can use washi tape that you glue down. Be sure you glue it down. So anything that will give this a little bit more reinforcement. I have gaffer tape, and it's because I have it for other projects. It's gaffer tape is a lot more than what you really need here. It's pretty heavy duty, but it's what I have on hand. So you know, use what you have on hand. Well, it isn't quite even there, is it? Here we go. There we go. So use what you have on hand and just reinforce the back of it. So that's all you need to do. And because that is the area that gets the most wear and tear. And what I do, or actually we're going to be making the covers for inside and for the outside. And so I try to consider, you know, how much of a border do I want on the outside. So on the prototype, if I can grab it here, on the prototype I allowed like almost 1/4 of an inch. And I think for this one I'm going to even make it closer and allow even less. But it has a personal taste, you know, what you like to see, which, you know, how it is looks, you know, good to you. Let me take my page and determine, you know, how do I want this particular design to fit on there, because you're going to have to cut it down, obviously. And I think I'm going to have a lot of purples in this particular one. And so I figure out my 5 1/8. I try to, you know, most of the time, if you can get that in the middle of your page, that usually works out pretty well. But if you have, you know, you are going to have to maybe cut off some of the drawings. So you got to determine, well, do I want to cut off, you know, from this side over or this side over? If I cut off in the middle, how does that look? I would rather have at least one side semi-finished off. But that's all aesthetic. It's all how you would like it. And so I try to determine where that is on here. And I think this is where I'm going to cut it this way. All right, I've sewn around them and I've inked around them. So of course I've chosen this here to be on the cover. And then this here is going to be mounted with more elements in it. So I only took, I didn't waste any of Edith Holden pages on it because it's going to be mainly, you know, almost all the way covered. So I just took scrapbook paper, and that I thought went, you know, pretty well. And I'm going to put that for a backing on this side. And for this side, I've chosen one of those, one of those prints that are sort of a little barren, and they're not quite as detailed, more greenery type of a thing, because this will be partly covered as well and not seen all that much, although it'll be seen a little bit. So I kind of like choose that kind of print. So I tried to save these here for covers and for things that are you'll see fully, because they're just so pretty. They're not that many of them actually. There's a lot more that are a little bit more barren, sparsely done. And then for the back, I do love these horses, but it's not really going to fit in any journal that I do. I just chose the words. And I tried to preserve a poem. I like a lot of the poems that she's collected, so I've tried to here and there, as I make ephemera and elements for the folio, I like to see if I can't save a poem or two. I think they'd be nice, a nice addition. So that will be on the back. Well, that is it for today. This was kind of what I would call the boring part, because you're just making the bones. But next time we get together, we're going to start working on the inside and all the little elements that go in there. So I sure hope that this helped you out a little bit, and kind of, if you have not yet, if you have an Edith Holden book and you've not yet attempted to go through it and deconstruct it, I hope this will give you even more encouragement. And thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your company. And, if you have any thoughts about some of the things that you do, if you have already taken apart an Edith Holden book, if you've got any tips that you ran across and things that you like to do, why don't you listen down below, and maybe somebody else can come back and take a read and see, there's another idea. Thank you, and I hope that you have a great evening and you have a good crafty rest of your day, and we will talk to you later. Bye.